Welcome to A Few Minutes with the Bible. My name is Reverend Dr. Derek Barnes Sr., and on this channel we will be reviewing excerpts from the Bible and doing brief Bible study messages. Today, this session, we will be looking at the book of Psalms. Most of the Psalms are written by David, but in this particular Psalm, it was written by the sons of Korah. And today we will be looking at Psalm 46. Psalm 46, verses 1 through 3. And God's word read, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore will not we fear, though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though its waters roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with its swelling, Selah. And there's your King James Version of your reading today. May God add a blessing to the readers, hearers, and doers of his most holy word. And again, this psalm was written by the sons of Korah, or given the rights, the author was given rights to as by the sons of Korah. And this very first statement is really a very profound statement. And it has, and if you didn't notice, it has a sense of confidence in what God can do. It talks about that, it explains that God is truly our refuge and strength. And the refuge, if you go back to when the Israelites went into the promised land, the land of milk and honey, they occupied all of the cities, but several cities were set aside as a city of refuge. And those cities were in those cases where if an individual had created an accidental offense, especially like manslaughter, they were able to get to that city for asylum. And in that city, then other things would happen, but it would relieve them of immediate retribution from the offender's loved one. But it was a city of protection. And that's the state here, is that God is our ultimate refuge. The psalmist is saying that in all of my protection from any single thing or every single thing, God is that ultimate protection. But he's also my strength. The strength that will help me to endure through whatever my situation may be. It doesn't mean that situations may not arise, but God will strengthen them so that they could stand through their trial and through their tribulation for the deliverer, God, to be that deliverer. But God is that refuge and strength. And again, I sense a lot of confidence in that, because then the next part of that first verse, he says that he's my very present help in trouble. And the next verses 2 through 3, we're going to get a little bit more on some evidence or some things to support his confidential statement in verse 1. But in the second part of verse 1, he says, my very present help in trouble. And a very present help, it reminds me of the line that we say that God is an on-time God. And what it means is that God has never failed. He is that ultimate help, a complete help. And that's the one statement that God does not half do anything. And God does not do in a statement where he may bring us to a certain point and leave us halfway. But God takes things from the beginning to the end. And that's the one thing that we should have confidence in, is that God is going to fulfill that help need. Whatever that need may be, God is going to fulfill it. But God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. And 2 through 3, the psalmist goes through a litany of items about those things that God, no matter what the situation is, God can deliver it. And but at first he starts with saying, therefore will not we fear. And again, it's a confidential statement that's stating that I have nothing to fear. And then he goes through these whole list of items, though the earth be removed, though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though its waters roar and be troubled, though its mountains shake with swelling. And in all of these things, there are very catastrophic events. And you can sense, you can read through this and you can see there's things like in earthquakes, tidal waves, tsunamis, things that are catastrophe, such a catastrophe that is almost apocalyptic in the type of statement that it represents. the earth be removed. But the psalmist is saying through all of these things, no matter what the situation is, even in the end of times, I would not fear anything, because he has confidence in God being his refuge and his strength. In all of his troubles, that God can take care of them, because we know that God is the one that fight our battles. And so in this statement in the psalm is also, just to point out one more thing, that the psalmist did not indicate that he was looking for his neighbor. He was not looking for other nation to take care of him or be his strength, or be his protection or whatever. He was looking at God, because he knew that God is the one that is able to satisfy all of those needs, all of those protection, complete strength, and an on-time God at providing help when it is needed. So in all of that, I think that is going to conclude our lesson today. But I wanted to say that is going to conclude our lesson today out of Psalm 46, verses 1 through 3. I want to thank you all for tuning in to this session. And I ask that you subscribe to my channel. All you have to do is just select the subscribe button on your YouTube page, and that way you can get future notices when new videos or new broadcasts come out. But again, I want to thank you all, and may God and continue to bless and keep you all. And may we all have that same confidence factor that the psalmist had, that God is our refuge and strength, and he is our very present help in all of our trouble, because he is such a great and awesome God. And may God continue to bless and keep